Israel is not a state, but a modern colonial project. Since its inception in 1948, Israel has been founded on lies. Their declaration of independence was merely a product of Western colonial politics. Israel is often referred to as a state. However, if we honestly examine its history, Israel is not a state in the true sense. It is a modern colonial project, an entity founded not on civilization, but on the blood, tears, and the theft of Palestinian land. Imagine, land inhabited by Palestinians for centuries suddenly claimed as the property of immigrants arriving from Europe, Russia, and America. Since its inception in 1948, Israel has been founded on lies. Their declaration of independence was merely a product of Western colonial politics. Britain deceitfully signed the Balfour Declaration of 1917, promising land in Palestine to European Jews, even though the land was not theirs. This is the greatest historical deception of the 20th century, and it continues to this day. No other country in the world has been founded in such a brutal manner. They drove millions of Palestinians from their homes, destroyed villages, and then named the seized land the State of Israel. How is this different from a robber who breaks into someone's home, evicts the rightful owner, and then claims it as their own? The only difference is that Israel is protected by Western military and political power. This colonial project plunders not only land, but also identity. Israel seeks to erase Palestine from the map, as if the nation never existed. They burn libraries, destroy historical archives, and replace city names with Hebrew. But history cannot be erased. Palestine lives on in the world's memory. Even more terrifying, Israel stands on a racist ideology. They consider themselves God's chosen people, while other nations are second class. This is the root of their injustice. They feel justified in plundering, they feel justified in oppressing, they feel justified in killing. Isn't this the most blatant face of colonialism, which should have long since disappeared in the modern age? Look at Gaza today. Behind its proud claims of democracy, Israel has completely shut off the lives of more than 2 million people. They live in the world's largest open-air prison, without free access to the outside world, without proper clean water, without adequate electricity. Is this the face of a nation? Or the face of an apartheid regime even worse than South Africa's? Ironically, many major powers turn a blind eye. The United States, Europe, and even some Arab rulers remain silent, seemingly blind to the suffering of Palestine. Yet every day, children are killed, homes are razed, mosques are destroyed, and farmland is burned. This is the most vulgar colonial project before the eyes of the world. But the world is also waking up. Thousands of activists from various nations, religions, and backgrounds are now speaking out. Free Palestine. They know that this is not just a religious issue, but a humanitarian one. Israeli occupation is a collective wound for humanity. You don't need to be Muslim to defend Palestine, you just need to be a person with a conscience. Israel is not an entity born of the people's struggle, but a product of colonial manipulation. It has no historical, cultural, or moral legitimacy. Therefore, it continues to maintain its existence through terror, weapons, and propaganda. If they are truly a legitimate state, why are the indigenous Palestinian people still being driven from their land? Muslims worldwide have a moral and religious obligation to care. The Quran reminds us of injustice and the importance of resisting oppression. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that this ummah is like one body, if one part hurts, the whole body feels the pain. Palestine is the wound of the ummah, and silence is like allowing that wound to fester. For non-Muslims, Palestine is a test of conscience. If the world allows Israel to continue to run rampant, it is passing on to the next generation a dangerous precedent, that colonialism is still legitimate, that land grabbing is still permissible, that oppression can be protected by political power. Even more terrifying, Israel not only colonizes Palestine, but also monopolizes the world narrative. They control the media, manipulate opinion, and even criminalize criticism with the label anti-Semitic. Yet opposing Israel is not opposing Judaism as a religion, but opposing colonialism, apartheid, and crimes against humanity. Today, we must boldly say, Israel is not a state. It is a modern colonial project that endures, because it is protected by geopolitical interests. But as history proves, all colonialism eventually collapses. The Portuguese collapsed, the Dutch collapsed, the British collapsed. Israel will also collapse. We must be confident that Palestine will be free. Because injustice will not last forever. We must be confident that Palestine will be free. Because injustice will not last forever. Because the prayers of the children of Gaza are stronger than tank bullets. Because the tears of a Palestinian mother are purer than any propaganda. And because justice always finds its way, even if delayed. Israel is only a temporary project. Palestine is an eternal land. As long as there are people who believe in justice, as long as there are hearts that reject colonialism, Palestine will survive, and Israel will be remembered not as a country, but as a dark stain on human history.